Hello, welcome back. Let's assume that we have a view and view name is emp underscore dpt underscore view. It is based on three tables: employee, department, sal grade, and we have an where clause, one order by clause. And then if you see the value of this view, and then if you do a select star from this thing, we are going to get these 6 rows. Okay, so the question that I'm asking you here is that can you update the employee number 7839 and employee name for the employee ID 7839 should be updated to something else. Let's say to ABC. Okay, so what you're going to do, you're going to basically then you're going to give this update statement, update EMP department, and say the value to ABC. Okay, and if I'm going to run this thing, it is going to give me an error something like this, that cannot modify a column which maps to a non-key preserved table. If you remember on your view videos, there are some conditions on which you can update the views. However, if you have your views containing any of this thing, okay, any of this thing, then for example a group by, order by, or a join, okay, so these are the condition on which you cannot update your view. Okay, and that is the reason why we are seeing an error here. When we are trying to update this view, we are seeing an error because we do have a order by clause here. The question here is how can you update the view, and that is where you have a new trigger that is called instead of trigger. Okay, so that instead of trigger is going to help you in updating this kind of scenario. Okay, and let me just show you how to write that trigger. Okay, so here is instead of trigger. So basically what you're saying that we are creating a trigger called am underscore something, and then what you're doing is, this is important, the triggering point or the event here is instead of update on what, on this emp underscore dpt view. So whenever we are trying to update emp underscore dpt view, then what we are going to do, we are going to update the underlying table, because our goal here was to update the employee name of 7839. So the goal here is to update this king to kkk. Okay, so and then essentially what we are doing by this trigger, by this m underscore update view trigger, what we are doing is we are internally updating the base table emp, and this is how you are going to update the view, the read only views. And the read only views, if it's not a read only views, then you don't really need any trigger, and that is where you have to write a instead of trigger. Okay, and this is what I'm showing you here. And now let's say if I run this thing, and now let me just try to run this update. But now I have the trigger in place, so whenever I'm updating this emp dpt view, then what happening is this trigger is triggered, and in this trigger, this is the action item that is being executed. And in the action item, what we are saying is that employee name is new employee name, and then employee number is equal to new employee number. Okay, so if this is a thing that if you want to run this thing now, so it says that one row updated. And if I'm going to see my view, so this is my view, this is my view where select star from emp dpt, and if I run this thing, I should, sorry, so if I run this thing, I should see this thing updated to ABC. And this is the use of instead of trigger.